When Jacob's family moved from the inner city to the suburbs, his parents hoped to see a marked improvement in his school grades. At first, his grades trailed behind the majority of his classmates. However, one of Jacob's new friends convinced him to join the school choir, and within weeks, Jacob had found his niche in his newfound love of music. His attitude towards his new school and his schoolwork dramatically improved, as his report cards began to show that his enthusiasm was reflected in his new and continually improved grades in the core subjects. From the situation, his parents realized that it was music education that was truly making the difference. This story illustrates how it is time for our government to increase budget spending for music education in the public schools, because increased music education corresponds to increased levels of performance in the core subjects. It provides opportunities in music to help many disinterested students to excel, and children in economically disadvantaged communities need equitable music opportunities to help break the poverty cycle. Participation in music and the arts continually proves to have a profound and significantly positive effect on the development of the human neurological system, in the development of the brain, and boosting students' performance in the core subjects. In a study by Krause and Chensekharan, they ascertained that musicians' brains contained a larger gray matter in the volume of auditory and visuospatial regions, which are the areas responsible for playing instruments as compared to non-musicians. This data shows that children learning music use and develop superior portions of their brain compared to non-musicians in order to advance their musical ability. Christopher Johnson and Jenny Mehmet also compared the standardized test results of math, reading skills, and grade point averages of elementary and middle school musically trained and non-musical students. Their findings reflected that students involved in music scored significantly higher in standardized tests than those who had not, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Additionally, they acknowledged the common argument that excellent music programs simply attract more academically gifted students, and chose to incorporate results from students involved in deficient programs who surprisingly excelled, to show that an academic background is not the quintessential factor to their study. Critics also complain that music education cannot be measured in terms of standardized testing, and therefore cannot be used to determine the success of a school, but by their study, however, they combat these arguments, showing the positive impact music education has on the core subjects. A prominent factor that attracts students to music programs is the sense of community, as well as the development of personal and social skills that students develop, which is highlighted in a study by Susan Halem. She examined the qualities such as self-confidence, social skills, teamwork, self-discipline, and so much more that have a positive impact on the engagement and development of children. She discovered that music students scored higher on several elements of Guilford's tests of creativity, including fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration. She also displayed research from which showed that from low ability disaffected students experienced an increase in music classroom time. It led to an increase in social cohesion within the class, greater self-reliance, better social adjustment, and more positive attitudes in the children. For those with disabilities or distress, participation in music also presents an opportunity for healing. Alice Ann Darrow examines the effect music education has on disabled students in the development of skills as well as improving their quality of life, social acceptance, and success in school. She mentions how it is essential for these students to receive effective education in order to improve their feelings, values, beliefs, attitudes, and emotional well-being, to develop emotionally in order to fully engage in life outcomes and experiences. Darrow also explains that being involved in music can provide motivation, flexibility, and enjoyment for disabled students, while producing favorable circumstances to exercise life skills and benefit social and emotional development. However, funding cuts have impaired music programs and have had a detrimental effect on various aspects of music participation among students in public schools across the country. Since 2001, the prominence of music programs has radically decreased, so Kevin Jarrety decided to test the impact of the No Child Left Behind Act to find out what is accountable for the decline of music in Ohio schools. Jarrety found that the majority of Ohio public schools are in favor of music education, yet it was surprisingly ranked as the least important subject in the general education of students. According to Jarrety, the most significant result of the NCLB Act was the finding that 60% of principals participating in the study reported that they expect their music teachers to devote a portion of instructional time to other subjects, specifically reading and mathematics. Overall, the study revealed that 43% of Ohio's school programs were found to have weakened in the era of No Child Left Behind. A study by Kate Fitzpatrick, however, suggests that equitable music opportunities need to be available for all students, particularly those in economically disadvantaged areas. Fitzpatrick discovered that in 7 of the 12 tests conducted, that the higher socioeconomic status students outscored the lower SES students of both instrumental and non-instrumental status. She also found that students who eventually would become high school instrumental music students outperformed the non-instrumental students of like socioeconomic status in every subject and every grade level. However, Fitzpatrick also observed that by the time of the 9th grade, the lower SES instrumental students surpassed the non-instrumental higher SES students on citizenship, math, and science. This result clearly calls into question the legitimacy of cutting music education, particularly in lower SES areas, to supposedly improve standardized test results. In conclusion, the great theologian and hymn writer Martin Luther once said, "In Summa, next to the Word of God, the noble art of music is the greatest treasure in the world. It controls our thoughts, minds, hearts, and spirits. From impacting our cognitive reasoning and changing the way we think, to engaging us to be inquisitive about our world and looking for creative ways to interact with it, and even to help many rise above disadvantaged socioeconomic levels, music education has been a life changer." Therefore, music education is a critical element in any educational process that desires to produce young adults who will have better scholastic results and become the creative, forward-thinking, and civically minded generation that we need to keep our country moving toward excellence. Now it is time for our lawmakers to increase budget spending for music education so that we do not lose the benefits of this amazing God-given treasure.